Just want to go over quick a play we had on Friday on Spy and why we took the trade, and also things you can do going forward to give yourself a low risk trade on entry. And then if a trade doesn't work out, you get stopped out with minimum damage. It's a good place to enter for entries, and if they work out, you can get some serious gains from these entry points. So just quickly, this is Spy on the weekly. So we got this area here where, on the weekly, Spy bounced here, it bounced here, and then we broke through here. So once we broke through, we came back up and retest that area before moving down again. So last week we was at that area again. So I told everyone in the chat room, we need to get over here for any more upside. We was at our weekly target for Spy, so there's a chance on Friday, if we chopped around on Thursday on the daily, that we could have some downside the following day, which is exactly what happened. So if we just go to the 50-minute time frame, just to give you a quick idea of how and why we traded this. So these are our pivot lines. They're drawn a bit thicker on the chart just for the video reference, but these were the areas where we had our pivots from our play in Spy. So I'm just going to show you the idea behind the trade and why we took puts. So this was pre-market Friday. The market opened up. It was a bit slow and choppy. This was a play in itself. You could play this from the bottom pivot back up. I didn't like the way the market was moving. It was a bit slow for me, so I just sat out and watched this go. If we look when we opened, this chart is on TrendSpider. If we look at this, which is on TradyTix, we had around the 940 mark. The call algo started going up, puts remained flat, and Spy started moving up, and we started getting bullish momentum in the market. So, like I said, I didn't like the action. It was a bit choppy for me. I just sat out and watched this retest the pre-market low to the top of this pivot, and then we had some weakness. This is on the 50-minute time frame. So when we had this weakness, this was about 11:20, 11:30. You can see on the algo on TradyTix where Spy started coming down and the puts started moving up. So what you got to remember is, and I told the guys in the room this, be careful because the market is still bullish. But what you got to remember is we had around 45 minutes upside when we made this move here. So you got to expect the market to show you some sort of bullish action because we just be moving up for the best part of an hour. So when we seen the put started moving up and Spy was moving down, and we just hit this pivot and we failed to get over, I entered a put position. And the reason being is, if this worked out, we got every chance it could fill right back down to the first pivot. But if not, we got our target areas where we could take profit or continue to work. You could add to your position, whichever style of trader you are, okay? So if you're a scalper, you could have scalped it down until it started getting some pushback to the upside. Or if you want to take strikes at target area and sit it out with a small position, you could have done that. Or like I said, you could kept adding to your position. Whichever style of trader you are, that's how you could have played it. But the point being, for me, this was a low risk trade based off the weekly area I just showed you, the daily area where this high volume shelf, we come to the top of that pivot and we started rejecting. So when I seen puts getting bought up and Spy started tanking on the algos, it was a perfect place to take a position on a put play because I was using this pivot as my exit. So if we would have broke back over that, I would have got stopped out, for a small loss. But if it worked, which it did, it was nice profit off a low risk trade. For the ones in my room, they know how I draw my pivots, and you can see by Spy, this is intraday, over the past few days, how accurate these work to these pivots. So as long as you plot these pivots tidy, guys, you aren't going to rush in anything in Spy. You can wait until you're at certain areas, until the buyers or the sellers are going to do something, and you'll get some low risk trades using these pivots as your exit points if it doesn't work. And they don't always work, but when they do work, you can enter these at a low risk trade. Now, it's important to remember that I didn't just enter this trade because, it hit this last pivot here. I entered the trade because of what the overall market was doing. You know, put buy-in was increasing, the call buy-in was decreasing, and SPY was coming down, and we was looking more bearish as this hit. So as a play, you know, it was a no-brainer to try it out. And like I said, if it didn't work, I would have got stopped out with you know, minimum loss. So it was a great place for entry, and the trade worked out great as well. So as long as you know how to draw your pivots, guys, and know how to draw them tidy, and all these other factors are lining up to get these plays, it's going to be low risk trades every time, and they don't work 100% of the time, but the majority of the time, as long as you're going with market direction and not trying to fight the trend, there's a high probability that these work the majority of the time. So I'd encourage you to take a look at them, guys, get your charts ready pre-market, and then just wait for the buyers or sellers to do something at specific areas, okay?